Over my entire career, which at this point spans over 15 years in the world of poker and trading, the smarter that I've tried to be, the more try-hard I was, the worse my results have ultimately been. Yet the more I've stripped away and removed fluff, removed information, removed indicators, the better my P&L has been. So today I want to talk about why left curve trading, the simplistic, obvious, almost, if we're being frank, dumbed down versions, actually can beat that mid-curve overthinker way more often than anybody in this industry would like to admit. Most of my early years and even some of the recent ones, while trying to learn more about the macro economy, the global way that the money system works, I genuinely believed the problem was just that I didn't know enough. That I was like one good narrative or complex portfolio built out away from the ability to grow generational wealth. So I watched a lot of stuff. I read a lot of stuff, talked to all sorts of people, tried different technical analysis, long and short time horizon investing, had a follow list on X and all the talking heads with notifications on and all their different calls on a spreadsheet, etc., etc. But the more I did, the worse my results. So WTF, man. So drowning in complexity and options and narratives didn't help me. Execution was sloppy at best, I'll tell you that. And there have been plenty of times my confidence was just absolutely in the bottom of the tank. Imposter syndrome, that's something for a whole other video, but that was running rampant. And I was always asking myself, why on earth I thought I had a chance in the hardest industry at all. Worst of this was that even after I'd learned to trade like my style, it didn't matter. I kept pursuing new goals and aspirations, and I was trying to be like 50 other people at one time. I was pure, unadulterated mid-curving this shit. And if you've ever seen the mid-curve meme, it's that bell curve, and there's like the idiot guy, and then there's the kind of mid-curver who knows a little bit, and then there's the right curve genius type, the Jedi, right? And the joke is that the left curve guy, the simple guy, often can beat the mid-curve guy who's drowning in that complexity. And the irony of it all is that the right curve master, the true expert, he looks like the simple guy, like the left curver. But their simplicity is backed by decades of experience, intuition, pattern recognition, insane amounts of reps. It's like Steph Curry, right? Like, he's one of my favorite analogies. He makes shooting a basketball look like a joke, look super easy to the point where he's turning around after he shoots it, knowing it's going in. And let me tell you, it is not that easy. Tiger Woods, he makes hitting a low drawing stinger look easy. As a golfer, let me tell you, it is not easy. The right curve trader makes simplicity look easy. But they've learned that over the years by doing all the wrong things and shaving off all the extra layers of intricacy until that blade is sharpened. And the mid-curve trader, he tries to look like and act like that right curve genius, but just doesn't have the foundation and is probably facing his own ego along the way. Little do they know, most traders, probably yourself included, live right on top of the middle of that bell curve. Overthinking, overcomplicating, trying too hard, trying to outsmart the smartest hive mind in the entire world. Trying to time everything with perfection to master every corner of all the markets. And this is precisely why they have a hard time executing and ultimately winning money, because that's what we're here to do. There's too much going on. You need to be more of an idiot, a left curver, a I'm proving myself to be an idiot. A keep it simple stupider. So let me break down why simplicity can actually outperform. First of all, it's going to reinforce your identity. When you stick to what you are good at, your execution can become smooth. One of my favorite lines in life in general is slow is smooth, smooth is fast. And this was referring to like a elite shooting force, I believe, in the military, where they were training and they're always like rushing and trying to be fast. And the trainer would always be like, hey, slow is smooth is fast. Train slow, train smooth, and ultimately you will become fast. You're not switching styles or changing beliefs every time that the macro winds shift. You know your lane, you know your strengths, you know the type of assets that you understand, and you don't need to reinvent yourself every day or week or quarter. Next, simplicity removes or reduces at least your emotional swings, your volatility. When your process is clean, your nervous system can start to it's still going to be on alert, but it's going to be able to relax and drop from constantly being at this high level anxiety. Instead of juggling 20 indicators and alerts and 12 different narratives and keeping up with all the podcasts, you're following a clear, defined path. And that's how you build confidence over time, not through the over consumption of knowledge, but through a new form of clarity. And by the way, this is why I'm so big on touching grass and walking a lot and exercising, sleeping well, eating relatively clean, because you need to balance out the impact of the stress and the cortisol spikes that come with this wild world of trading. Simplicity also will let you act instead of think. So sure, we've all heard of traders who act too quickly, too sloppy, they're early. But many take the opposite side and never even act at all. They have too much information, they're too much of a perfectionist mindset, it all bogs you down, it doesn't allow you to have your instinct take over. Left curving it just frees the shackles and lets you trade decisively. And that's half the battle. And look, asymmetric bets don't come without conviction, without process, without action and planning and contingency. You want clarity of mind, thought, and probabilities, right? So removing that noise will help you gain that clarity. It doesn't add to it. Importantly, simplicity survives. Complex systems during high bouts of volatility will likely break. Too much chaos is going to snap your convictions, throw you in a blender, and the only action left for you will be to remove yourself from the situation or the trade to get back to some sort of normalcy. Dumbed down systems, however, can bend and adapt and blow in the wind. They can keep going and adjusting along the way, understanding that it's part of the game. So yeah, you don't need brilliance to win at markets. You just need durability. Whatever gets you to stay in the game for longer until it's your time to prosper. When you survive and you stick to winning processes for months and years, hell, even a decade, it's all going to compound on itself. It will outperform any of these mid-curve genius types who keep hitting the reset button, who keep removing the N64 cartridge and blowing at it, They all have their moments, but I would bet on a process-driven, smooth-brained operator any day of the week. By the way, it took me years to figure this out, like years. So hopefully this helps you in roughly the 10 minutes or whatever this video is. I wasted so much time and energy trying to be something and somebody that I was not, trying to force feed my brain. But look, I'm not Millennium. I'm not some high frequency fund. I'm not some genius type. I'm just James. I have a different lifestyle, risk tolerance, funds available to me. My time frames are different, all that. So why should I expect to be anybody but me? So yeah, my trading, it didn't change when I learned more, it changed when I learned less, but applied it better. Simplifying, I leaned into strengths, focused on the assets that I understood, I liked the flow of, built a general worldview of the economy. I looked for good entries. I took my asymmetric bets. I trusted my experience, my process, and my identity. And that's finally when my results would start to take off. Look, the left curve guy, they get laughed at right until they outperform everyone who's trying to be just a little bit clever. Anyways, I hope you want to get out of that mid-curve trap. If you want to simplify everything, build that real confidence, and lean into your own strengths, it's actually one of the reasons I started the Risk Cabin, which is my free Discord that I have in the Linktree link below. Just go click it, come join. It's free, and this is the stuff we talk about in there all day. Hope you guys are well. See you next time.